What up, y'all? It's the Robot Watcher. Grab your binoculars, and we back with another video. If you like it, like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. Let's go ahead and get into it. Trey Benson. Now, this video I don't think gonna be too long because I'm feeling kind of sick. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah, I'm trying to get in and up out of here. But let's go ahead and get into his stats. 2020, he was at Oregon his first 2 years. 2020, he didn't get any snaps. I don't know if this was the year that he had the knee injury, but I remember as an Oregon fan, I remember him tearing his, which I thought was just his ATL in like a training camp or something like that. Apparently it was like his ACL, MCL, LCL, like a lot of stuff he tore. But one of these years at Oregon he tore. Next year also at Oregon, 10 games played, quote unquote, 6 carries, 22 yards, 1 touchdown. Whatever. Transfers to Florida State. 13 games played his first year, 154 carries, 990 yards, 9 tutties, 13 catches and 144 yards in the passing game, no touchdowns. And then this last year, his senior year, or his redshirt junior year, 13 games played, 156 catches, 156 carries, 906 yards, 14 tutties, 20 catches, 227 yards, 1 tutty in the receiving game. But some decent stats. Let's go ahead and get to the film. Now, I think this was a really easy eval, really easy cut up, really easy eval. First thing that I noticed as a strength, he's not an easy guy to take down. Like arm tackles, he run through those. He's gonna run really hard, and he's gonna be able to run through your arm tackles. If you only wrap him up, like you're gonna have to be a really sound tackler and actually put a good hit on him, and really have be a really good team tackling team. You're gonna have to group tackle this guy. So yeah, you're gonna have to team tackle this guy. You're not just gonna be able to most of the time get him down with one guy, but not an easy guy to take down. He's a tough runner. He runs with a little bit of attitude. He runs with some fierceness. He's you know, not afraid of anybody. He's running hard. Also, into the next point, he has great contact balance. To go into this point, you hit him, he bounces off of you. You hit his legs, he bounces up and puts his hand on the ground, stays up. His equilibrium is crazy. Like I said, he's going to run through arm tackles. Even if you hit him pretty good, you think you wrapped him up, he'll be able to stiff arm you off, kind of spin out of it, all kind of weird stuff. He's a really tough runner. And also into the next point, well, these first 3 points really work in tandem. He keeps his legs running. Like, he keeps his legs going. Even when you hit him, you wrap him up, or you got a gang of guys on him, he's just going to keep those feet chopping, keep those feet chopping, keep those feet chopping. That's another reason that he's run through these arm tackles. His feet just keep going. So you may be able to throw your arm at him, try to ankle bite, or wrap around his thighs. His feet are just going to keep moving. He's going to run through that. Also, next point I have for him, really good point. I was kind of questioning his vision because I didn't see anything that wowed me. And it was a couple moments I was like, I feel like he could have took a different angle, kind of set up a guy, got to a different hole. But in traffic, he's really good running in traffic. He's really good at squeezing in the holes, cutting guys off, kind of cutting guys' tackle angles off, and getting upfield and kind of running through arm tackles, like I said before. Really good runner in traffic. If you're an inside zone team, you're a duo team, you're a pin and pull, kind of running through the tackles type of team, he's going to be a really good back for you because he likes running behind his blockers and he likes running through traffic. I think that's where he looks his best, when he's downhill running through traffic. He is a downhill runner. He's great going downhill. Zone schemes, I don't know, we'll see, but as a downhill runner, he's really good. Also, dang, I didn't even mean to do this, but the next point, he's explosive going downhill. I mean, he has great acceleration, great speed, great vision when he's going downhill, great playmaking ability. He's a downhill runner. Like I said before, you want him in duo, you want him in inside zone, you want him kind of running downfield, kind of running with a head of steam and getting his gas behind him and getting up and going, and he's going to be really good. Next one, also really good long speed. I mean, he's able to make these explosive plays where he takes it 50, 60 yards, 40, 30 yards down the field. If he sees a gap, he's going to be able to accelerate downhill really fast and get out of there and get up to top speed really quickly and hold that for a long time to be able to get those big explosive plays. I didn't see him get hawked down at all, really. I didn't see him get hawked down at all. Now, I didn't watch every single game, so maybe it does happen, but it didn't pop up on the tape, but I did see a couple long touchdowns on the tape. So really good long speed. And last point, really good lower body build and strength. That, like when I talked about earlier, he run through traffic. If you look at him, I almost had one of his shades of his Saquon Barkley. Didn't do it because he just doesn't remind me of him at all. But I almost had it because of his body type. because of how he looks up top. He's shredded, he's really built, but then his lower body just reminds me of Saquon, AJ Dillon. Pause. This is really pause. This is glazing, but really reminds me of a really strong lower body guy. And he doesn't run behind his pads. He isn't a violent, put my shoulder down, trying to run through and inflict pain. It doesn't look like, to me, the games I watch, it doesn't look like he's that guy. He runs really compact, not necessarily standing up, but he's just running. He's just running, and he's just running through the guy's arm tackle. He's not lowering his shoulder, things like that, but because of his legs are so strong, he can just run through guys. And his upper body's so strong, he can just kind of shrug guys off and keep running. So really good lower body build and strength overall, but really his lower body really impressed me when you see guys going at his legs, going at his ankles, and he's just able to run through it. But let's get into the stuff that's not his game. All right, now I actually do got a couple things. You know, usually it's like 3 or 4 things, but I actually do got a couple things for him, stuff that's not really his game. Limited hip flexibility and agility. I don't know if that's the right word, but kind of moving side to side. He is, when I say he's a downhill runner, he's a downhill runner. You can see him whenever he's trying to cut back or cut things up. He has to slow down a lot, take too many steps to slow down, kind of loses his balance in some plays. Whenever he's almost like, I talked about this with Xavier Leggett, a Derrick Henry-esque runner. He's gonna be really good once he gets going, but if you can get down on him before he gets going, you're going to be able to get him down easily. But I think that's because of his hip flexibility and his agility. He just doesn't have much side-to-side movement and explosiveness, but really explosive going downhill. Also, next thing, I think he's a pinball. I put this down. He's a pinball-esque runner. I talked about it in the last one. He doesn't run behind his pads. He doesn't run with violence, like he's trying to inflict pain on somebody. He runs kind of just compact, like I said, but kind of just running through guys, shrugging guys off. So you have guys come down there, boom, but he won't go down. He'll just bounce off, keep going, or he'll bounce into the next dude, keep going. He's a you hit me and I stay up. He's like, what's those little toys that you used to set down and you can push it and it just stays up on its feet somehow? That's what he reminds me of. Those tackling dummies that you hit it and it go back and bounce back up eventually. That's what he reminds me of. Like, he's a pinball-esque runner. And the reason I say that's not necessarily a good thing, if his strength isn't going to be able to translate as much to the NFL, it's going to be much easier to get him to go down. 2, I think that's really prone to injuries. It was a couple hits where on his knee, I don't know if it was a surgically repaired knee, but on his knee where it's like they hit him and he's not protecting himself, it's kind of just bouncing around guys. Not think he could get hurt that way. And with the already injury history, which is, I don't know, I don't have it on here, but that's a little scary. Also, oh, I already said this. Doesn't really run behind his pads, but let's use the second one. He doesn't deliver punishment much. I mean, there's been times where in pass pro, where usually guys, when they have a free rusher, they're looking to lower that shoulder and try to boom somebody. Or when they're running the ball, they're looking one-on-one, wearing the hole, meeting in the hole, they're trying to lower that shoulder and boom somebody. I've seen him lower his shoulder, but it just doesn't ever look like he's trying to bring it to somebody. I could be wrong. I watched maybe what? I want to say 5-6 games. I want to say 2 from 2022, 4 from this year. So I could be wrong, and maybe I just missed the other games that he did it. But from the games I watched, it doesn't look like he's here to deliver much punishment. It looks like he's more to be able to take like a Wolverine-esque. Like he can take it and heal quick, but he doesn't want to do the other part of the Wolverine, or it doesn't seem to give off the other part of the Wolverine with the tenacity and wanting to, you know, deliver the punishment to other guys. Next thing, next 2 pass game questions and pass pro questions. Pass game, I say he just doesn't look natural running routes. If he's on a swing or on a little flat route, cool, he looks cool. I think he has good hands. He has a natural catching ability sometimes, even though some plays it does look wonky when he's catching the ball downfield, but he just doesn't look like a natural receiver. I think he can be somewhat of a receiving threat, but I don't know if he's going to be this plus to your receiving game at the next level, just because, I don't know, man, he just doesn't look natural in it. Maybe he'll improve, maybe I'll be wrong. This is what I'm not really solidified in my confidence in it. I could be swayed off of this opinion, but that's just what I noticed. Next thing, pass pro. Like I said, it just doesn't look like he's there to deliver punishment. When he's kept in the block, he's kind of just putting his arm on guys, kind of just touching them up, kind of just, oh, little hedge. Like, he doesn't look to hit somebody, to chip somebody, to somebody's coming through the lane, I'm trying to put my face mask in their chest. That type of blocker. He doesn't get that off to me. I don't know if he's necessarily bad, because he is getting in the way of guys. So he's keeping his quarterback clean, but I don't know if that'll work at the next level if he's not going to be able to deliver punishment. Then the last one, is he a 2-down player? Because of his questions with his pass pro, because of the question with his pass game, will you have to take him off the field most times in passing downs and have another receiving-esque back to play on those downs? I don't know. We'll have to see. But those are the stuff that I have for his, not really his game. But let's get into his player build. Now, if you was paying attention, his player build, this basically is like a moment of when they say the movie title in the movie, that Family Guy joke. But he's just a downhill pinball. He's best when he's running downhill. Get him going downhill. Get him a crease. Let him run downhill and let him run through tackles and guys. Really good. Pinball. You hit him. He has really good contact balance. Be able to stay up. He's going to run through arm tackles. You're going to move him off the spot. He's going to bounce back, bounce around, and stay on his feet. But he's not necessarily delivering punishment. So downhill pinball is what we have built, and he's a downhill pinball runner to me. And when I talk about the shades of the first one, Derrick Henry, I feel like he's the same way. The kind of guy that lacks that agility side to side. I think he does have a little bit more than Trey Benson, or maybe they're in the same realm. Because Trey Benson does have some. It's not like he's just not agile at all, but it's just not enough to me on those cutback lanes, things like that. So I think wide zone he may struggle. But Derrick Henry, you get down on him quick, he's pretty easy to tackle. A lot of NFL players have said that. I kind of noticed that with Trey Benson. But whenever he gets going, whenever both of them get going, you're in for a load of trouble. It's a little harder to get them down. So that's why he's my shades of. Another guy, Brian Robinson. I put this because he reminds me of him as his toughness as a runner. Brian Robinson runs behind his pads, and Trey Benson, like I said, doesn't really. But he also reminds me of Brian Robinson's toughness as a runner and as his ability in receiving game. Brian Robinson isn't your receiving back, but he can be utilized on some of those plays because he has good enough hands, and he's able to move with the ball after the catch, obviously, because he's a running back. So that's why Brian Robinson here's for shades of. Last one, Najee Harris, another guy that's just a kind of taller back. In his prime, he was really good when he got going, really good stiff arms, things like that, but not much of an agile mover. Not much of an agile mover side to side. Now, I think, lacks a lot of the burst that Trey Benson does. When it comes to kind of a taller running back, lacking that agile side to side things, but having good downhill running ability and speed, Najee Harris kind of reminds me of this. And I think at worst, his role will be like a Najee Harris role in the NFL. I think he'll be a good back regardless. I thought coming into this, he's probably going to be my RB1 just because I was watching film on the receivers, on Keon Coleman, and watching that offense, and he just keeps popping. I'm not paying as much attention to the running back when I'm watching those, but he keeps popping up on plays. I'm like, dang, that's a great play. That's a great play. When you kind of sit down and watch it, you see a little bit more of the weaknesses. That's why watching film is important. See a little bit more of the weaknesses. I don't know if he'll be my RB1. I've heard that this is a weak RB class. I'll have to see for myself. I'll probably do like 5 evals of RBs total. Not going to go as depth as other guys. But yeah, that's what I got for Trey Benson. I think he'll be a day 2, day 3 pick. He'll probably be a really good running back for somebody's team, especially if you use him in the right scheme. I mean, yeah, it's not much more to say. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you want to see next. I'm taking requests. I'm not doing no more running backs. After this video, I'm going to take requests. I had some Terry Arnold requests. I had some Kyrie Jackson from Oregon requests. I do want to start doing edge rusher. So if I don't see enough requests, I'm going to do the edge rusher I want to do next. So request who you want to see in the comments. Don't do it on my Twitter. Do it in my comments on YouTube. I need that engagement so I get in the algorithm. Appreciate y'all for commenting on Twitter, but do it on YouTube. Like on YouTube, subscribe, share, do all that. But yeah, it's been a real wild watch. I'll see y'all next week.